Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. In this short video, Grant and myself are going to go through some of the top most asked XP questions. I'm going to start this one off. Why does my coil light keep flashing when my machine's turned off? Well, my friend, that is completely normal. The coil is in standby, although the light is still flashing. So when you turn your DAIS or ORX on, it connects with a coil and good things happen. So if your coil light's flashing, don't worry about that. And this same flashing light principle applies to the MI-6 Pinpoint probe. Over to you, Grant.
Thanks, Gary. You know, you mentioned something about the blinking light. The coil always blinks, but when you charge it, it's important to know that the light stays solid. And that's how you know you have a snug connection on that clip. I think a lot of times people will put that clip on and not pay attention, and then their coil's not charged because they don't have it snugged correctly. So snug it in, make sure that light turns solid, and then it's charging. And then when it starts blinking again, then you're ready to go.
Here's a good one for you. I can't install my X35 or HF coil. When I put a serial number in, my machine just goes crazy. Well, my friend, that's because you're using an earlier version of the XP DAIS. Make sure you update to the latest version and it'll accept the X35 coils.
You know, one thing to keep in mind is if you're using both the X35 and the HF coils, is something called ID norm. Now, if you're using the X35 coil, by default, it's going to be on ID norm, which means no matter what frequency you're in, that target ID is going to be the same no matter what, versus the HF coils, where if you move up in frequency, your target ID is going to go up as well. So if you're getting an 80 on a 14 frequency and you bump up to 28, that 80 may now become an 85 or an 86. So it's something to be mindful of if you're switching coils.
When I'm searching with my DAIS or ORX, I get a false signal every time I knock the coil against stubble, rocks, dirt. Is something wrong with it? Not normally. It's because you've got the ground balance set too low, or you've got it in tracking mode when you don't need to. I'd suggest you run the ground balance between 88 and 90 and see if the problems go away. Grant?
Thanks, Gary. One tip I have is around pinpointing. Now, if you're using the pinpoint button on your control box, you're going to go into all metal mode. And sometimes you want to really narrow it down because you might have multiple targets in the area or it might be really big. So you can hit that button multiple times to shrink the signal to really zone in. Similarly, if you're using the MI-6 or MI-4 and you're getting too big of an area and you want to zone in, just hit that button multiple times. It's going to shrink the target down so that you can pinpoint it better.
It's competition time again, and it's your chance to win the fantastic XP 280 backpack, the XP Finds pouch, and an MI-6 Pinpointer. Now, all you have to do to enter this competition is go onto the XP Facebook page and like it, and then sign up for the XP newsletter. All the terms and conditions, instructions are linked below. Good luck, everyone. Here's a good one. My coil doesn't seem to be solid on the lower stem. It keeps flopping around. Well, there's a good chance you've got the top hat in the wrong position, the washer in the wrong position, or the top hat might be completely worn down. Just check out this video.
Sometimes what I like to do with my coil, instead of using the pinpoint button, I use the wiggle method. So basically you just wiggle the coil back and forth over the signal until the signal disappears. This is especially good when there's a lot of iron around and you really just want to zone in on that one target.
My XP DAIS won't update. I keep plugging it in and getting an error message. I think there's a good chance that you're using the 3-point charging lead to update your machine. When you buy your machine, you'll get a single lead as well, and that's your update data transfer lead. That's the one to use for your updates, not the charging lead.
Great tip. Thanks, Gary. I've got one for the WS4 headphones. Now, some of you may know this already, but for those of you who don't, this is a really, it's gonna blow your mind. Blew my mind when I learned it. So a lot of people just put their headphones on like this, and they call it a day, right? But the backbone is meant to fold down to rest against your neck, and that's going to take some support off your ears, and it's going to make them fit a little bit more snug. So again, when you put on your WS4s, make sure you fold that backbone down a little bit.
My WS4 headphones are switched on, but I can't hear any sound. Well, there's a very good chance that the control puck isn't slid all the way into the headphone casing, making a good contact. So just pull it out, slide it back in again till it clicks, make sure there's a good contact, and I'm sure everything will work absolutely fine.
One thing to always remember, if you've got a program you like, or you're using one of the stock programs, if you make any modifications to that program, they're not going to save if you shut down without saving the program. So if you've fiddled around, you've changed reactivity, audio volume, if you want to keep those settings, make sure you save the program before you power off.
Here's one I've got wrong so many times in the past. You pull up in your car detecting, you get your detector out, you switch it on and you start detecting, and it's just giving constant false signals. You can't understand why it's so erratic. Well, there's a good chance that you have the wrong coil selected, and the selected coil is in the back of your car picking up all sorts of metallic surfaces. So always check that one. I know I'm telling you about it, but like I say, it gets me every time. Grant?
So here's a tip that a lot of people don't know. When you're on a field, a big field, you're kind of wondering where to search for. Which direction do you go? Do you start over there? You start over that way? Over that way? Best way to find out, you take your MI-6 or your MI-4, like that, and wherever it points, that's where you go. So I'm going to be going that way.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Grant, my friend, for your assistance. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it.
Hopefully, we'll see you in the field very, very soon. Bye for now.